This album changed my life. I went to see Art Garfunkel in 2015 when I was 19 years old. Halfway through his set list, he played a Simon Garfunkel song, April Come She Will. The lyrics read, August die she must, the autumn winds blow chilly and cold, September I'll remember, a love once new has now grown old. As a 19-year-old who was at a very difficult point, a time of very low confidence, I had a rough year at university. This part of my life wasn't going how I wanted it to, how I thought it was going to go. I was sat there listening to the lyrics, even though I'd heard the song loads of times before. I was sat listening to the lyrics thinking, I can't believe what I'm hearing. I got this real ache and pain in my chest. If I wasn't in a room full of strangers, I honestly think I would have had a breakdown and cried right there in that room, but I didn't, obviously, because it would have been horrifically embarrassing. It felt like things were changing, and not necessarily for the better. A month later, when I was at university, I went back to university after the summer holidays. I went into a charity shop, scrolled through some of the records, and found Bookends by Simon and Garfunkel. It was battered. It was in really bad condition. The record itself is in decent condition, but the sleeve was all battered and bruised. It was, it didn't look good. I'm a believer in giving a record a new home. I like doing that. If there's a record there in the charity shop that's £1 or £1.50, I'll buy it and I'll bring it home. This was £1.50, which is quite cheap for this album. You wouldn't really get that now. So I bought it, took it home, and I was so lonely at university. At this point, I didn't have many friends. I lived alone. I wasn't sure whether to carry on with my university course. I was so close to leaving and going back home, and my confidence was at an all-time low. Despite being a Simon & Garfunkel fan and seeing Art Garfunkel a month before, I'd never actually listened to this album in full. So it was a cold, wet October night. Put the record on the record player. The crackles of the record started. And for 33 minutes or 35 minutes, however long this record is, I sat quietly and I took in all the lyrics. Start to finish, didn't move, apart from when I had to turn the record over. Now, I'm not a particularly spiritual person, it's just not who I am. I'm not sitting here saying that someone put that record there for me to find and buy and take home and listen to. That obviously didn't happen. But I'm not sure what my path would have been had I not bought the record that day and had I not listened to the record that night, because it completely changed my outlook. It changed my outlook on everything. The lyrics really worked for me. They really hit me. One of my favourite lyrics in any song ever is, Kathy, I'm lost, I said, though I knew she was sleeping. I'm empty and aching and I don't know why, which features on the song America. That sense of emptiness, that sense of longing for something or someone or somewhere. Even now, if I'm just listening to music and it's on in the background, if I hear that song is on, I make sure I zone in for those lyrics. It always just keeps me on track, I think. Lyrics like preserve your memories, they're all that's left you, or old friends sat on the park bench like bookends. They just hit me like a ton of bricks. As a 19-year-old, this is going to sound like a LinkedIn post and it's going to sound a bit, not great. I see life as a journey and I see life in chapters, and each chapter depends on the person's individual moments in their life and what they go through. It's only recently that I've started to think of life in this way. It's recently dawned on me that when I was 18 and my gran died, that this was the end of the first chapter or first season of my life. The childlike innocence had gone, and it had gone with her. Something left me when she went, and it took me probably until I found this record. So 13, 14, 15 months later, it really gave me an understanding that I needed to carry on. I needed to carry on with life. I needed to dig in. I've always wanted to be an artist. I've always wanted to be an illustrator and creating things. And at that point in my life, I wasn't doing that. And something was holding me back. Whether that was a lack of confidence or, maybe grief or just a change of scenery. That the age I was, 18, such a big year. You leave home. If you go to university, you might leave home. New friends, new people, new experiences. I was going through that, but I wasn't having the experience that I thought I was going to have. So from the moment I listened to this album and that album finished, I didn't worry about how many mates I had. I didn't worry about my university experience. I didn't worry about what was going on anywhere else. I thought that I'm here at university right now, alone, on my own, in my bedroom, in my flat, and I need to make the most of this experience. I had time because my course wasn't particularly hands-on, so I had loads of time, and I need to use that time wisely and become something better than what I currently was. Now, I'm not saying this album would have the same effect on you if you were to sit and listen to it, because I think everybody has different experiences, everybody likes different things, different music, different tastes. I'm an illustrator, artist, designer, whatever it might be, but I don't get the same feelings about art that I do from film or music. I could go to a gallery and look at the most famous pieces of art in the world and just feel nothing. And I think that's fine, because other people will get something from that art that I don't. Equally, I get things from music, or this album in particular, that other people don't get. People might think it's just contrived, nostalgic rubbish. Maybe it is, but for me at that time, and to be fair, I still love the album, but for me at that time, it wasn't that. It was a very important piece of music that really changed my outlook. Looking back, I think I changed as a result of listening to this album. My outlook changed, my perspective on life changed, and that's the great thing about music. It's the great thing about films or poems or books, whatever it is that you are interested in. That's the great thing about art in general. Time, see what's become of me while I looked around for my possibilities. If you yourself are struggling, just remember that it only takes one little thing, one little moment, one album, one film, one book, one poem to change your perspective. So just keep looking for it. It will come. It will come to you eventually. It might not be now, it might not be next week, but it will find you. So just remember that. Eventually it will find you. I hope you like this video.
Long ago it must be, I have a photograph. Preserve your memories, they're all that's left you.
Thank you for watching. Goodbye.